Reihe 2 sehen wir Daniel Nemes und Tim Gábor. In der Reihe 3 dann Balázs, Hartmann und Ádám. Mészáros. Dann in der Reihe 4 steht niemand. Das ist ja die Drucklinie quasi zwischen den 1,4 Turbomotoren. Und in der Reihe 5 starten dann die 1,6 Liter Saugmotoren Suzuki Swift mit Ádám. Reihenfolge quasi der Pohlmann der 1,6 Liter, Ferenc Hartmann neben ihm in der Reihe 5, in der Reihe 6 dann Milan Merck und Zoltán Zsuki, der als Sieger im ersten Land hier als quasi letzter auf die Reise geht. Dafür war als erster hier auf dem Startgrid, also er zeigt seine Ambitionen klar, wo die Reise hingehen soll, nämlich wieder ganz nach vorne. Schauen wir mal, ob ihm das gelingt in den 25 Minuten plus eine Runde. Das ist nämlich die Distanz, die beim Swift Cup Europe über die Runden gebracht werden muss, hier am Salzburgring. So, as I told you, now we can see the starting order. It's reversed than the official timing in the first heat. So Bastian Fleischmann is now the pole position man in row 1. With him is Ivan Burkus there in the row 1. Second row, Daniel Nemes and Gábor Tim. In the row 3, we can see Balázs, Hartmann and Ádám Mészáros. These are the starters with the 1.4 turbo Suzuki. Then we have an empty row. After the empty row, we will start the 1.6 liters.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here at Salzburgring, the afternoon part of the Sunday's program. Coming up for this weekend's Suzuki Swift Cup Europe. We have the race number 2 right ahead of us. We already had the first race earlier on and the weather is still beautiful. It's actually getting hotter and hotter. So last night's rains are long forgotten. 24 degrees Celsius, maybe even more. Definitely feels like it. And the cars are lined up on the starting grid for race number 2. And we will have reverse order, as you may already notice, because it is Bastian Fleischmann lining up on pole position on the right-hand side of your picture with the predominantly blue car with orange highlights. On the other side of the front row, the yellow car, that is Egon Burkus, who was classified 5th in the 1.4 turbo class. We have got Daniel Nemes, Gábor Tim together on row number 2, and then Balázs, Hartmann and the earlier race 1 winner Ádám Mészáros in P6. Then it's the order of the other class, 1.6 naturally aspirated older generation Swifts. Adam Slezák, tilted right-hander, which marks one end of the track, And that leads you on this very long back straight that basically runs all along the track, as you can see here in this short, past the paddock, past the main grandstand, past the support paddock, to the turn number 11. Officially it's turn number 11. I mean, if you just skipped all the slight kinks and undulations, maybe you just learned that there's like 5 corners at this track in total, but one of the harder braking zones as well, where you really have to go on the brakes as late as you possibly can, and then you need to sort of sell the exit, because you need to line up properly for these S's that get you then back to the start and finish straight, and to begin another lap around this circuit. So slightly different rules, of course, than in all the other races. Here you see the support paddock and also the merchandise stands and stalls. 25 minutes of racing action plus 1 lap in the Suzuki Swift Cup Europe, which is guided a little differently than the rest of the series that we're watching this weekend. So the drivers claiming positions on the grid. The red lights are on and they're off. This was probably one of the longer starts that we've seen. The starter usually extinguishes the lights very quickly indeed. So nothing really to wait for, no time to lose. And we are underway, breaking into the first corner with Bastian Frischmann assuming the lead, but it appears that it's already Balázs Hartmann from 5th on the grid up to 2nd. Wonderful start by the Hungarian driver. Already up ahead Gábor Tim, who was starting from the row number 2. Egon Burkus slowly starts dropping down the order. We have got also Ádám Mészáros, who will try to get ahead, but so far he's still in 6th. And we have got Bastian Frischmann in the early lead from Balázs Hartmann. And there is Ádám Mészáros. Closing the pack of the 6 cars in the 1.4 turbo class. For the moment, little further back, we have got the 1.6 naturally aspirated guys trying to stay ahead of the medical car, and it's Balázs Hartmann immediately into the race lead around the outside of the fearsome turn 11. What a move that was by the Hungarian. Bastian Frischmann was not really able to put on a huge defense against that. So it's Balázs Hartmann from 5th on the grid immediately into the lead long before the first lap is even completed. So through the chicanes we go. Now hard under braking into the first chicane, and it's already Egon Burkus who's trying to trouble Bastian Frischmann. He wasn't able to do so, now has a slower exit out of the first chicane. That means that he's coming under pressure. Further mixings of orders, Gábor Tim coming through. And it's Daniel Nemes who now lost a couple of places in the process. Ádám Mészáros starting to climb up the order. So he took Nemes. Now he's already battling with Burkus, and there's Gábor Tim next to them as well. This is now going to be slightly more difficult for Mészáros, as he's lost all the slipstream, as he was just driving alongside all the cars that he was trying to slipstream past earlier on, but now he's collecting slipstream behind Frischmann, which could be key for him. And Ádám Mészáros now gaining 3 positions. He's going to battle with Tim. That's not going to be so easy. Hard under braking. Mészáros assumes the inside position into the turn number 12, right-hander. But that one's tilted, so it's still possible to hold quite a lot of speed around the outside, which Gábor Tim does, and stays in third behind Frischmann. Back onto the start and finish straight, using some of the curb. And across the line we go again. 1:40.898, the fastest lap of the race, set by Balázs Hartmann in the lead, who's already built up 2.5 seconds of a gap. He's just trying to exploit the situation. Bastian Frischmann, ooh, and there's contact. Ádám Mészáros sent sideways through the chicane, but he manages to hold the correct direction, correct the car, keep going. Of course, he's losing a little bit of speed, therefore a little bit of ground. This is all great for Balázs Hartmann. He was fighting for victory on the final lap of the race earlier on today. He ended up just under 0.3 of a second behind Mészáros, but this time he's already enjoying quite a lot of a gap in the lead, and he's just trying to use the situation that's unraveled behind his back, where everybody else is battling, and that means that he can really run for it and build enough of a gap to have ahead of everybody. There we go, 3.8, nearly 4 seconds. That's a great lead by Balázs Hartmann at the moment. Ádám Mészáros taking one spot, but having a slower exit out of the first chicane. So he did overtake Bastian Frischmann, but Frischmann looked like he might get that position back, but suddenly he's really slow into 5, and that means that he's actually definitively overtaken by not only Mészáros, but this time also by Daniel Nemes. Order changes again. Mészáros is defending. You could just see how he was braking really hard as the hazard warning lights came on. That's actually the feature of the serial car. Usually these small models have that. I also know it from, for example, Fiat 500. It's when you brake too hard, the hazard warning lights come on, but that's for regular traffic, for regular road cars, just to inform any drivers behind you that it's a crisis situation and you've got to go full on the brakes. In the racing world, it's quite clear that you're going to be doing that, but still, the feature has not been removed from the Swift. Honestly, doesn't really have to be. So Mészáros now after Gábor Tim, but they are already 5 seconds behind the race leader Balázs Hartmann, who's really used the situation at the start nicely to his advantage, immediately built a comfortable gap in the lead of the race. And let's see if Ádám Mészáros gets ahead of Gábor Tim, whether he manages to actually improve his pace and start lapping faster. But still, honestly, with 17 minutes left on the clock to close down 5 seconds, that's going to be, I would even say, borderline impossible. In the meantime, the paddock is gradually emptying. The Clios have already finished their entire program, so some of the teams have already left. And that's the way about Sunday, honestly. When you come to the commentary and you've got basically 10 races in a day like today, you start early in the morning, close yourself in the commentary booth, and when you come out of it again at the end of the day, you just realize that the paddock is all empty, with everybody who's still there just packing and of course leaving home. For some of them, there's another race immediately next weekend that will be valid for Formula 4. They are going to Orechová Potôň, to Slovakia. Not them, no. Oh no, yes indeed. I was just mistaken by the fact that next weekend it's already June. Time flies, honestly. In the meantime, Ádám Mészáros ahead of Gábor Tim, but we're waiting for his lap times. So, looking at the live timing screen, actually Ádám Mészáros has already set the fastest lap of the race, 1:40.4, but on the previous lap he did exactly the same lap time like Balázs Hartmann, 1:40.870. To the precision of thousandths of second. And not only that, he cannot even focus fully on trying to get closer to Hartmann, as he still has his rearview mirrors full of Gábor Tim and potentially even Daniel Nemes. So through the final S's they go. Let's see, as we are approaching the halfway mark of the race. In the meantime, it is Zoltán Čuty already up into the lead of the 1.6 class, just like earlier on today. We've got Milan Merk in second from Slezák and Hartmann. So in the lead, slightly slower lap time by Balázs Hartmann, but really only just slightly. So the gap reduces to about 4.8 seconds, still a lot. And I still think that it's going to be rather impossible for anyone from these guys to catch up. The only hope would be safety car in my mind, if anything happens, but so far this race has been run absolutely faultlessly. Very clean race with no incidents to report. Mészáros shaking off the pressure slightly, so you see that he's pulled away a little bit. He's not under immense attack or immediate attack. Now they are re-entering the start and finish straight. 4.6. Mészáros does lap this track faster than Hartmann, and he's just set the new fastest lap of the race, 140.351, but Hartmann did his personal best at 140.548, and that helps him hold on to the lead that he has. Gábor Tim now taking a little bit more of the curb, kicking up some dust. Still under pressure from Michelisz, who's however unable to launch the attack. In the meantime here, Balázs Hartmann comfortably in the lead. It is slowly disappearing, but I still believe that there's not enough time at this rate, and Daniel Michelisz sends it down the inside. His front spoiler already broken and hanging off, but nothing to be worried about too much. 4.1 seconds between Hartmann and Mészáros. Mészáros set another fastest lap of the race. It was very similar to what he did previously, just some, I believe, 8 thousandths of a second faster, so there isn't a lot that's still in it. It's more the fact that Balázs Hartmann dropped the pace slightly on the previous lap. Gábor Tim and Daniel Michelisz, they set their respective personal bests, and this is their fight for third. I mean, just as the day progresses, of course, the track gets gradually more and more rubbered in, because of course, thanks to last night's storm. Ooh, sideways moment for Michelisz. That's not going to help him. Last night's storm removed all the rubber that was already laid out on track. Eight minutes left. Still going to be interesting between Michelisz and Tim. Mészáros pulls away. There is Zoltán Chuty, the 1.6 class leader, but this is actually Ferenc Hartmann. I think it was. He was a lot slower than the rest of the 1.6 pack. And Mészáros sets one fastest lap after another. 1:40.263, but this time Hartmann was just half a tenth slower, so the gap still stays at around 4 seconds. I don't think that's doable really. Some sort of trouble or some sort of unexpected event would have to come to help Ádám Mészáros get in touch with Balázs Hartmann. This is a lot closer fight, that's for third, obviously. Now Gábor Tim gets quite close, honestly. But it's really difficult to overtake with these cars into this corner. You also have to take it really quickly. Brake extremely late. When you're driving here, you almost feel like you've already missed the corner and it's still not the time to brake. So in that one you really need to be brave to be fast. It's really an old school track. That wouldn't really fit, let's say, to Formula 1 calendar, but for such racing like TCR, Cup racing, even Formula 4, it's really rather nice. And just like Red Bull Ring, it's set in wonderful nature and perfect surroundings, so the overall feel here is really very good. But you really do need to approach the racing slightly differently than on, I would say, regular tracks. I wouldn't really count this among the regular tracks, simply because you've basically got these long straights where slipstreaming is really powerful, and then also the banked quick corners are very technical and very difficult, and you absolutely need perfect exits to not to lose any speed through them, and you really do need to carry a lot of it through, which isn't really for everyone. Three minutes left, so that's still 2 laps plus the 1. Daniel Nemes remains under huge pressure from Gábor Tim. He's really trying. He's going really nicely, but and now he might try and have a look around the outside. I don't quite think it's going to work, but just maybe. Gábor Tim manages to stay ahead, stay alongside, and that was key for him. So in the end, he does make that stick. What a move that was by Gábor Tim. Beautiful one around the outside. We've seen a couple of those in the Formula 4. I didn't really think that's possible in the cup racing, but there you are. But they are side by side again as they come slipstreaming past the pit straight. But Gábor Tim now cements his position in the second place as he keeps the inside line into the chicane. So the time is up, but we will still have that one final lap to go. That's the specialty of this category. Balázs Hartmann up in the lead, lapping the back markers. So I'm not sure whether he saw this board. Either way, there was no checkered flag, so he'll know that there's another lap to be done. His gap at around 3.7 seconds, which is still more than comfortable for him. He's lost some of it, yeah, but that doesn't really matter. He laid the groundwork early on, just as the rest of the pack were battling. He made a great start, great getaway, great opening lap, managed to get up to the race lead immediately, well, basically within 2 sectors of one lap. It took Ádám Mészáros a lot longer to get to second, and by that time Hartmann was already so far up the road that he's simply become unbeatable. And because he's not put a foot wrong and nothing else happened in the race, nothing crazy, no incidents, no safety cars, he's been able to enjoy the fruits of the work that he did. And this is just a perfect race for you if you manage to do it like that, from 5th to 1st across one lap, build enough of a gap. This is what you call dominance, and you see that Balázs Hartmann celebrates it perfectly. Balázs Hartmann takes victory in the second race of this weekend for Suzuki Swift Cup Europe. Ádám Mészáros comes home second on the back of the earlier race win. Gábor Tim completes the podium from third already, 11 seconds behind. Daniel Nemes, he tried what he could, but in the end he was no match for Gábor Tim and ends up fourth on the road. Bastian Frischmann from pole to fifth, so went exactly the other way around than Balázs Hartmann. Egon Burkus ends up sixth on the road. The 1.6 class won by Zoltán Csuti from Adam Slezák, Milan Merck and Ferenc Hartmann, who is still the last car to complete this race and about to cross the line as well, just as the rest of the pack. No incidents. Everybody also saw the checkered flag and made it to the end of the race.